Welcome to the SoCalBikePT Podcast, where we talk bikes, physical therapy, and everything in between. I'm your host, Tim Wu. All right, here we are. Welcome to the first episode of the SoCalBikePT Podcast or YouTube show. It's in the mix. Quick shout out, thank you GQ6 for keeping us hydrated. And a quick shout out to my friends at the local bike stand for keeping my bikes ripping and smooth. My favorite mobile bike service. So if you need some help, check them out. So my first guest ever has been ripping it on two wheels since she started riding motocross as a toddler. She began racing at 8 years old, turned pro at 15 and continued for another 3 years after that before discovering cycling in 2010. In 2011, she quickly rose to the amateur ranks and secured a spot on a pro team in 2016 for Team 2016 Ride Biker, and is currently on Team Sho-Air 2020. Even still, the dirt calls to her. She continues to also compete in cyclocross, enduro, and mountain bikes, completing the grueling Leadville 100 in under 10 hours. My God. She's raced all kinds of amazing places, represented Team USA in Europe, and all the while, but everyone's favorite, most cheerful inclusion on any group ride. Recently announced as a member of the 2018 Cylance Pro Cycling UCI World Tour Women's Squad, it's Holly Breck.
Hello.
Thanks, Holly. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks
Welcome
for
to the garage studios of SoCalBikePT.
I like it.
First things first, it's coffee time.
Coffee time.
I have the Spandex Stampede mug.
Dang.
From the recent Gravel Volume 2. And then you're rocking the Mammoth Mountain mug. It's a little late in the day for coffee, but it's always a good time for coffee.
Never have too much coffee.
All right. So, first things first, cheers.
Cheers.
All right, before we get into the good stuff, what was your last ride you did?
Today.
Today,
Went up Sunset Ridge, down and across to Monroe, dropped down Monroe, and then went to Arsenal's and had a nice brew. It's good.
On the mountain bike?
On the mountain
Good
bike.
times. Wish I could have joined you, but how was the weather? It was nice?
Oh, so good.
SoCal winters treating you well?
SoCal winters treating me real well.
Yeah, short sleeves?
72 degrees,
in December.
just a kit. It was a good day.
What bike were you on? Obviously the mountain bike. What were you riding?
Cannondale Scalpel, Carbon 3.
Sick.
Oh, so nice.
That's a nice bike. How much
Love it.
is that? Full suspension, right?
Full suspension, all carbon fork, carbon rims.
It's nice.
1x11 system.
Ooh, I love the 1x.
Double lockout, so it's just a little.
Oh, I've got 1x on my gravel bike. It's like,
I love it.
It's changed. As soon as I go to my road bike, all of a sudden I'm like, what's this other shifter?
Yeah, what is this?
What do I do?
I like it. Yeah.
Cool. And then what'd you have afterwards?
Afterwards, I had a Hanger 24 at the local.
Ooh. Which one? Which beer?
It's called Hanger 24.
No, on the brewery, like they make like they have like the IPA, or did you have the stout?
No, it's more of like a blonde. It was a very light.
Oh, okay.
It's
Delicious.
good, though. It's really
Perfect. So, as I mentioned in the intro, you started off in motocross.
Yes.
And you've transferred to road 2011, kind of had like a quick rise through the ranks to the top level now.
Yeah.
As my first guest, I got a world tour guest, first time. Can't mess this up. So I want to ask you, how would you describe your journey through cycling in 3 words?
Oh, 3 words.
3 only.
Unbelievable.
Okay.
Blessed. And mind-blowing.
Wow. Okay. Why unbelievable?
Unbelievable because honestly I would never have thought in a million years that I'd be traveling the world, let alone on a bicycle.
Amazing.
So it's taken me everywhere, so it's actually pretty sweet.
Okay. I saw over the summer-ish that Team USA took you to Europe, right?
Yes.
And I had a hard time finding anything about this. Trying to find women's pro cycling results here or even like abroad is impossible.
Yeah.
Besides following riders' social media accounts. So from that, it looked like you had a great time. Tell me about your time in Europe.
Yeah, my time in Europe this year was very fun. Unfortunately, it was pretty short. We went over for 2 tours. First tour was a women's tour in Czech Republic.
Oh, cool.
I had a good start. Was more so working for teammates, so went over to be a worker. And unfortunately, in stage 3, I had a pretty good crash within the final 100 150 meters.
Oh.
Kind of more downhill style to like a little S section, and the finish was right there. And was sitting top 5, and came in. Someone was on my inside, and they ended up colliding with the person right beside me, and we just kind of flipped and took out everybody. So crashed for 150 meters from the finish, and that was game over.
Were you sprinting, or were you leading out at that point?
When it's that close, you're more so just still trying to lead out, but you're sprinting at the same time because it's only 150 meters.
True.
Like, you just everything you have. So I was giving it everything I had, but the corner, the way it was set up was, I had technically the line that went perfectly straight.
Yeah, until someone was there.
Everybody was just trying to fight for it. So
oh my God.
A little too far back. I should have been first through the corner, but.
You learned from that, but what happened? You were all right?
Well, kind of. Yeah, I got some road rash.
Okay.
Someone's chain ring went into my shin.
What?
So I got 18 stitches in my shin.
No.
6 in my elbow. Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
How's it? Oh, there we go.
Fairly well.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah. Just a few road rash.
It's kind of like your standard amount of scars and stuff from being at the pro level. That's fair.
So,
okay. Well, so what was the other tour you went to in Europe?
Then I ended up in Germany and did Turnagain. Turnagain was really fun. It was hard. I ended up finishing the whole thing, but I was just a worker. So no real results, but I gave it everything I had. Like, my body we only had like a 3-day recovery in between each tour.
No.
So yeah, I DNF'd the first tour.
Yeah.
I had to kind of heal and try to get my stitches somewhat enough soaked up to where
So you're racing in Germany, stitches still in?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Stitches still in my elbow was all wrapped up. Well, my whole body was sore.
Tough as nails.
You kind of have to be. Like, when you're over there, you only get one shot. So
oh, for sure.
You gotta make the best of it, whether you're a mummy going out there, or you just gotta give it everything you have when you're over there.
So after you finished Germany and came back home, you had some time to think about it. Like, what was the whole European experience like, and how would you contrast that to racing stateside?
Ooh. It's night and day difference. Stateside is obviously really hard still. I have yet to win anything at the high level here. So can't take that away. But the racing styles are very different. Over in Europe, there's 200 women, and you are there to race from start to finish.
Wow.
Each race has about 200. It's full gas.
That's a huge peloton. 200?
Yeah.
Wow.
200. Sometimes they cap it at 150 just because there are so many women that want to go and race. And so it's literally from the time they go, all right, bang, go, it's like full gas. The roads are much smaller. There's what we call road furniture. So there's speed bumps. They like their little mounds with like signs in the middle of them. They love the railroad tracks and the smaller roads with, like, you're on a bunch of dikes sometimes. Like, the roads are really crappy. Most of the time it's either raining or you have a nasty headwind, side wind. There's tons of different elements going on.
So it sounds like there's never an easy day on the bike racing in Europe.
Not racing in Europe, no. It's literally, and they know when you don't know how to do a pace line or any type of anything. They will put you in the gutter faster than you can say ham sandwich. Like,
oh wow, I can say ham sandwich pretty fast.
Yeah, I know. Or mercy. Mercy!
Yeah, mercy! So when you say full gas, tell me, is that the average speed super high, or are there a lot of tacks and it's really punchy, or is it a combination of both?
It's a combo of both. Speeds in general are we're coming in. Speeds in general are just really fast, and I mean, you're in a pace line and you're going along at 25 to 30 miles an hour, and then on top of that, people are attacking and they're going, and it's full gas.
That's crazy.
So it's definitely hard. Half the time you walk away within the first 5K and you're already cross-eyed. You're just in the pain cave, and you still have 3 hours to go. Wow.
So stepping up to the World Tour level next year with Cylance, what's your racing schedule kind of like? Are you going to be racing more in Europe or a lot stateside? Like, what's going on?
Most of it's going to be in Europe. We leave for Tour Down Under and Cadell's Tour.
Oh, nice.
5th. Yeah, so just getting ready for that. mostly we'll be doing that, and then we have training camp going after that in Spain, and we'll do a few local races in Spain as well while we're there. But we'll be back and forth. We'll come back and do Tour California.
Nice.
And some of like the crit style races over in the States, and then we'll go back for another round of Europe racing in July. So
I just got to say, hearing like what your schedule is for like the next year is like the coolest thing ever. It's like, yeah, I'm going to Australia, I'm going to Spain, I'm going to team camp, and just going to Tour California, and that is so cool. I see what you mean, but it's unbelievable.
It is very unbelievable.
Just a couple years ago, being like, I remember watching that, and it's like,
yeah,
it's unbelievable knowing you from a couple years ago, and then like hearing that you don't want to do this. I'm just like, it's like, all right.
I'm pretty excited.
That's nuts. So knowing that you're stepping up to that next level, kind of describe to me how you're feeling about next season. What's your kind of like greatest hopes and kind of your greatest fears, and how are you handling all that?
There's a lot of feelings going into this year. I mean, I'm just jazzed, like super excited. I'm like a little kid in a candy store, like, oh my God. But at the same time, like just trying to be ready and stepping up to that next level. I look at it as a bunch of stair steps, and like right now I'm just like dangling there, like I'm hanging on, but I'm dangling. But just getting prepared. Like it's more so of like just an exciting thing, and like seeing the process and believing in the process that you're doing, and making sure that everything's like kind of spot on and everything like that, and that you're feeling good. And if you're feeling bad, you just kind of have to listen to your body and be like, all right, well, I need to rest, I need to do this. And the people who have been helping me get to that point, like you have to believe what they're telling you, and like trust that they know what's best for you as well.
Oh, for sure. So you mentioned that it's a stair step preparation, and there's people helping you.
Yeah.
I want to kind of figure out a little bit about that, because kind of my goal of this podcast or YouTube show, whatever this evolves into, is to learn about how riders of all levels and of all disciplines kind of utilize physical therapy or other rehab professions to keep their body in top performing shape, keep them healthy to do their day jobs, and also return from injury. So who is kind of part of that team that's preparing you, and what does preparation look like for next year? Yeah,
so preparation right now is just a lot of miles on the bike. Long days on the bike, 4 or 5 hours. A lot of on the bike strength stuff, but yet a lot of off the bike strength stuff as well. So like a lot of like body weight stuff, whether it be squats or with the stretchy bands, just kind of prepping like that. Mostly cycling is a very front to back movement, so you don't really get side to side movement at all.
Yes.
So that side to side movement becomes very weak, and then your body tends to hurt in those places. So a lot of the off the bike stuff that we do, like core and stuff like that, is very starts to go side to side movement to get that strong again. So your body kind of remembers like, oh, I have other muscles than just forward and back.
I'm so glad you said that, Holly. For everyone who's in the physical therapy realm or not out there, cycling is a forward motion. This is called your sagittal plane motion. We're really good at going forwards, not a lot of what's called frontal plane motion. This is extremely common in all riders, is the inability to move side to side.
Exactly.
You take someone who can ride a bike 100 miles, but you ask them to stand on one leg and they'll fall over.
Exactly.
And so you heard it, at the pro tour level, off the bike frontal plane work is super important.
Huge.
Super important. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
So who's training you? Do you have like a coach that works on that, or are you just following like a program the team has, or what resources are you utilizing?
So I've actually been working with a local guy, Patrick Carroll.
Oh,
has been
Pat, good job.
Thank you, Pat. Has been helping me since 2014, when he took over the women's local team at the time.
Oh, Full Circle Cycling.
Full Circle Cycling.
Full Circle Cycling's dope. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
She did one race with you. That was pretty fun. So sneak in there a little bit, but you know, you've got one rider to the World Tour. Great job. So what kind of stuff has Pat given you?
He's given me pretty much everything at the moment, from strength stuff on the bike to core workouts to body weight stuff to stretching routines, everything like that. So
nice.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing you like to do, and then the one you just dread, but you know it's good for you?
Ooh, there's so many love-hate relationships between everything. It's like, it's hard to not pick one thing.
Yeah.
I really, like, I love and I hate core workouts. Just because you feel strong, but yet you can identify where your weakness is.
Oh, yeah.
And especially any like side-to-side movements for me are like horrible. So like side planks or like mountain climbers, things like that are just awful. But at the same time, like, you can see the process of getting better at them.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's always fun.
So when you feel yourself getting better at those side-to-side or like frontal plane type of movements, do you feel a difference on the bike? And if so, like, what does that feel like?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Feeling, I mean, how would I describe it?
Let's say if you're doing an attack, or if you're, especially because you're sprinting a lot, you gotta utilize all that power.
Exactly.
Maybe do you find that you fatigue less over a longer period of time?
Most definitely.
Nice.
That's a huge one for sure. You definitely fatigue less way over time. Like, whether you're trying to sustain something on a climb or you are attacking, like, you can hold it for that 30 seconds longer or that minute longer just to get you either up and over that climb,
that
or
means everything,
even to stay with the group.
Absolutely.
Like, anything like that is just like, it helps so much.
Yeah, you heard Holly say it. Working on that frontal plane stability
is huge.
What it means is when your joints are more stable in the plane that they're going to kind of default to when they're weak, if they're strong there, your muscles that make you go forward can do their job. They don't have to compensate for that. Definitely. It gets Holly over that climb. It gets you a little closer without being disconnected. It's worth everything. So that's awesome that you said that.
And it also helps with focus too, like trying to learn to stabilize those muscles and keep them in that right plane when you're trying to either do the plank or do a side plank, and trying to keep your hips up and things like that. Like, that same focus transfers over to when you're trying to hold that 5-minute effort a little bit longer, or when you're in that time trial position and you're trying to bridge that gap to that next break, or you're trying to bring something back. Like, those little fine moments when your mind wants to wander, it's those times where you're in the gym doing that work is when it comes and kicks in. It's like,
so you find that's an advantage now when you're in those situations. You can draw your mind back to being conscious of your form, knowing that it'll keep you strong and actually is more efficient.
Exactly.
Because it's easy when you're in the box to be like, oh, forget this. I'm just going to start squirming everywhere. I don't care how bad it looks or how slow it is. I'm just giving up.
Exactly.
But we know keeping it stable,
especially
when you got a bridge gap or if you're on the time trial bike, for sure.
Definitely.
So what other preparations besides just the physical fitness part do you see that will help you get to next season and be successful?
It's all the little things that you do that'll basically get you to that next level, as in like eating well, sleeping well.
Sleeping well.
Sleeping is huge. Like, people think, 5-6 hours is enough. No. I love my sleep. Like, I am the world's best sleeper. Like, love it.
I love it. So
8 to 10 hours.
Ooh, you said it. 10 hours. I was about to say, do you know what the recommendation
8 to 10
is?
hours.
It's if you're an athlete, if you're a pro athlete, and you're an athlete in general, and you want to make gains, it's a 10-hour minimum of sleep per night. And that's not crappy sleep. That's deep REM sleep.
Yeah.
No, like, phones before bed and all that stuff. It's good quality sleep.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that.
No, I love my sleep. I'm a total old person. I'm out by 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Oh.
And
you know what they say? Early to bed, early to rise.
Exactly.
And make it to the pro tour.
By 6.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the bike.
Man. What other, like logistical preps, like where are you going to be living next year, or what do you have to, like, I'm curious, like, now that you're going to be this, world traveler, like, what's that going to be like?
My home base will still be here in San Dimas. Right now I rent a room from a lady that I met working through InCycle.
Nice.
I sold her a mountain bike about a little over a year ago, and just got to know her, and we became good friends, and now I rent a room from her. And so my home base will still be in San Dimas, but when we're away, most of the time we'll be in Girona, Spain. So
that's cool.
They have a team house over there, and we'll be staying there. And when we're over in Europe doing races, we'll be there, and then we'll fly out to races and either do like a host housing or a hotel or something like that. So
that sounds like the coolest adventure.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
Like, would have never guessed in a million years.
Well, I'm so awesome that you're doing that. I mean, it's so cool to see yet another local make it to that level, and everyone around here lives vicariously. At least I do. Lives vicariously through these experiences. You're like, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've been dropped by them. I've been dropped by Holly Breck. I've been dropped by them, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Of the new people that are on your team, have you ever been on a team with them before? Do you know them, or is it just you're walking into a bunch of strangers?
Mostly walking into a bunch of strangers.
Okay.
We've already met through email. So we know them by email.
Right.
And then obviously Instagram, stuff like that. You tend to follow each other. A few of them I know just through racing in general. You kind of get to know your competitors.
Of course.
And then they kind of become your friends and stuff like that off the bike.
Yeah.
Your frenemies on the bike.
Your frenemies.
But
I like that, frenemies. You're like, hey, we're best friends right now. You're going down.
Exactly.
I don't care how cool we are. You're going down. Afterwards, stop by and give me a hug.
Exactly. Maybe we'll go get some coffee.
Yeah, get some coffee or something like that.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I'm excited to meet more of my European teammates and see kind of where they come from and how they work on the bike and stuff like that. I know they're incredible athletes as well. So I'm excited, very excited to learn from them and kind of see and follow kind of what they do.
I can't wait to talk to you at a year from now and see post first season of World Tour and be like, wow, here's everything I learned. You know what, we'll do that. And a year from now we'll do post, we'll look back here and be like, that's what I was thinking. Exactly. Wow, I had no idea. And afterwards it'll be this totally cultured European expert pro racer and just a wealth of knowledge.
I don't think I'll be like that, but
oh, I'm sure. So I would be remiss without asking, and part of this goal is to promote physical therapy as a profession.
Yes.
And we talked a little bit before about some of your injury history from motocross, which is your normal injury history from motocross.
Pretty much.
Tell me a little about some of your injuries from there and some of the rehab you've had and how that's kind of helped you make it into cycling and stuff you've learned. And my favorite, what you wish you would have known back then so that you would be either in a better spot now or have prevented some kind of injuries that are nagging you now.
Dang.
So first, tell me about all the things you've broken in motocross. That's a nuts list.
Well, I've actually, knock on wood, have walked away pretty lucky. I have your typical broken fingers and hands and wrists and ankles and sore knees and lower back, things like that. I've broken a few ribs. I've knocked myself out a few times.
That's fair.
But that kind of comes in the nature of
absolutely
of moto. And rehabbing stuff back, mostly my arms and elbows and knees were definitely a huge one, and ankles were huge ones to try to come back from.
Oh, absolutely.
Just being very sore and tender and that tight tissue that you get in there. And especially smaller joints, you get arthritis and things like that in there. So the cold definitely sucks later on. Later on when it's winter and stuff.
When it's winter, when it's 72 degrees in SoCal.
Hey, it's 50 in the mornings.
Oh yeah, until the sun comes up and it's instantly hot.
Instantly hot, and you're peeling off layers.
Oh, absolutely. You're tucking the vest right away. But what about injuries into cycling? Has that carried over and you still have problems, or has you been okay?
I've been all right. I've definitely learned a lot through kind of rehabbing with moto injuries, of stretching and kind of trying to more so just strengthen yourself off the bike and just all around in general. Stretching is huge too. I wish I would have stretched more. That is definitely one thing I wish I would have done. Stretched.
There's one. There you go.
Stretched and done yoga, and I wish I would have done more body weight style training of that side to side movement rather than front and back. You do more so of that in moto, just because you need more upper body and core. But when I was racing moto, 90% of my training was on the bike. So I was never really like training off the bike. So more off-season training, gym work, stuff like that came when I did cycling. And so I learned a lot more through that, just through trial and error.
Interesting. So when you were in moto, it was like all on the dirt bike and not so much off. And when you started getting into cycling, it was like, hey, we got to focus more on this off the bike training.
Right.
So then I want to know, this is fun to know, like when you were an amateur and still learning about this, how much was on the bike, off the bike, and how would you compare that to now that you know all this stuff?
When I was an amateur,
a pro-amateur. Yeah, there you go.
It was, on the bike was 80, off the bike was 20.
Okay.
And now it seems like in like our off-season style stuff, it's almost 50-50.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there is a few months where you're off the bike completely and you're still riding, right, but you're not like
focused training.
There's no focused training. It's like you're going out and you're chatting with your friends. It's, hey, let's stop at a coffee shop. Or,
it's
hey,
coffee rides.
It's coffee rides.
Love coffee rides.
And then afterwards, you're like, oh, let's go for a hike, or let me go to the gym for a few hours. But there's nothing really that's structured.
Okay.
But there's a good probably 2-3 weeks just to get a mental break from everything, and then you start doing more of the gym work and things like that as well. So it's like,
that's an interesting point. So I want to point out something, and I've seen this trend among the top level of racing or like true professional cyclists. They really balance this off the bike training with on, and it's a lot more even, closer to that 50-50 depending on the type of the season, than riders who do like almost 100% and they put in crazy miles, and it's plagued with injury. And I want to share that strength training, and
it's huge.
I just posted something like yesterday or today, a little what's called a meta-analysis of like a bunch of people looking at, does strength training prevent sports injury, and it reduces it by 1/3 strength training.
Nice.
So the point to him, it's never wrong to be strong. Pro Tour, it's you gotta lift weights, you gotta be strong, and you gotta strengthen your weaknesses.
Definitely.
That's definitely important.
And I've definitely learned that this off season for sure. We switched up my training quite a bit, just to get stronger on and off the bike.
Nice.
And my I was definitely quad dominant. For sure, by far.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. my hammies were like a rubber band. They're tight. They were super weak. That was like Bambi.
You're asking for injury there.
Definitely. So for a few years I had like knee pain behind my knee, and so we've switched that up, and I definitely feel more strong, kind of all around. So it's been good. That
is good. I hear that complaint all the time. Naturally, whenever I'm on the bike and someone's, oh, what do you do? It's like, oh, I'm in PT school. Instantly, my knee's hurting, and it turns into a consult while you're riding out to Montrose or something. And all the time it's like, oh, I'm having this pain here and stuff like that. And I usually, they usually ask, what can I do? And I'm going to ask you, like, what do you do for recovery? They usually tell me that. And then I'm like, what do you do for strength training? And they're like, I ride big gears. No, that's not strength training. Yeah. That's just ripping yourself.
For injury.
Exactly. So what do you do is kind of like your recovery routine, and what's something you swear by? Everyone has something they swear by, that after a ride, they're like, I got to do that, or tomorrow's going to suck.
Right. If I have I should do this more often.
That's fine.
After almost every ride, except for maybe coffee rides, but ice baths.
Oh.
And those are love-hate. An absolute love-hate. You're
talking true ice bath, not like cold tap water.
No. Like
rip the ice, sit there and be like, this is terrible.
Yeah, you get like 2 20-pound bags of ice, dump it in there and get the cold water going. And you sit in there 15-20 minutes. It's the worst 15-20 minutes of your life.
Time moves so slow.
So slow.
Time is the slowest.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're ever like on the verge of death, just get an ice bath and you'll live forever, because time is so slow.
Yes, very much so. It is like, you just want it to be over so badly. That first 3 to 6 minutes, you're sitting in there, your body's like starting to cramp and do weird things.
What's happening?
Yeah, your heart rate's through the roof.
Yeah,
and then you're like, okay, I got this. Okay, and then pretty soon it's just like, all right, it's good. Yeah. You're good.
I'm assuming that's not an every ride thing that you shoot. It's on those it's on those days.
Big hard days where it's just like you feel like absolute death after the day, and you just want to relax. You just want to sit there and like take in everything that you've just done. So
we all know after you do that ride, you feel like death, and you don't do everything. The next morning, you're like, I can't get out of bed.
Exactly. You feel
Forget riding today. Get out of bed.
You feel like you got ran over by a truck, for sure.
Okay, so ice baths.
Ice baths.
Oh, God,
ice baths, and then foam roll.
Foam roll. Excellent. What kind of stuff do you do on the foam roll?
A little of everything, really.
A little of everything.
Yeah.
Little of everything mean like all parts of my legs, or like a little bit of the whole body?
Well, no, I like to do whole body.
Okay.
I like to do, like, my back always is pretty tired at the end of a day.
It's to be expected.
Yeah. So I roll out my whole back, my glutes, my glutes and hammies and quads definitely get a lot of love by the end of the day. That's always, that again is a love-hate relationship with that as well. But then you got like the little like spiky balls that's like tennis ball size.
Oh yeah, or like
hit like the real tight spots. Like the IT bands are always tight.
Oh, you find a little something, you go
exactly,
and you know you got to sit there for a while,
for a minute, and roll it out to get that little knot out or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah. By the end of the 30 minutes or whatever you're doing, it feels so much better. It's worth it.
It's worth it
for sure.
It's worth it. I'm telling you right here.
It's worth it.
Spend the time. I can't tell enough. Like, if you've just subjected yourself to hours of the exact same stimulus in the exact same position, the exact same motion, to the limits of your ability, you gotta do a little something afterwards.
Exactly.
And this isn't the, foam roll yourself into oblivion.
No.
No, absolutely. It's just a little something.
Exactly.
Kind of calm yourself down.
Exactly.
And that's I'm glad you said that, because the misconception is I gotta hit the foam roll until I'm crying. Like, no, you just put your body through hell.
Exactly.
A lot of that is just to what's called like reflexic inhibition. It calms you down.
Yeah.
It gets better blood flow.
Exactly.
It's
a nice flush.
There we go. It's a nice little flush. So you feel ready to go.
Yep.
All right, so I've hogged you for almost half an hour now. I've got a few things to finish up before we get out. I don't want to take all your time. So these are the fun ones.
Cool.
Most epic / painful ride ever.
Ever.
You have done.
Ever.
Where afterwards you're like, I'm selling the bike. This sucks. But it was still super fun. It could be a race.
Okay. Energy Bot Tour 2016 in Europe. My very, very, very first race. That thing, it's a 7-day women's tour in Germany, and it was the hardest race to date, still today, that I've ever done in my life.
7 days. Why was it so hard? Dumb question, but why was it so hard?
Just wind, it was cold, it's your first experience, it's raining, there's 200 women, the roads are no wider than a car.
Oh, jeez.
It's 30 mile an hour headwind, side wind. You're on concrete roads. Like, it is the most nerve-wracking, intense thing that I have ever done on a bicycle.
You hit epic ride blackout on the bingo. Like, you hit everything.
You just can't get any more epic than that. Like, in race mode.
And you made it all 7 days? How far did you get?
I made it all 7 days.
Oh my God. That's nuts.
By the end of all 7 days, I was almost 2 hours down from the leader. It was that hard.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Actually, good job. Only 2 hours for 7 days?
Yeah.
I'd be like 2-3 days behind.
It was very, very humbling. It was a very humbling experience.
What did your face look like when you finished all 7 days? Was it like
bingo?
Oh,
just like that.
Those classic shots are like, I just did what?
I just did what? Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I think we started with 200, and I think we only ended with like maybe 90 people.
And you were in there.
I was in there.
That's nuts.
But I was barely in there, but I was in there.
Hey, that's proof of concept. Holly Breck can hack it in Europe. That's pretty cool. So that was pretty epic. I was expecting something like, I had this like long mountain bike run time, not like 7 days of torture.
Yeah, that would be my most epic to date on a road bike.
Ooh, you thinking to pass that next year?
I'm hoping so.
Hoping so? All right, we'll see it a year from now if that was true.
So.
Okay, so then I guess my next question was, what's your favorite race either to do or watch? Well, I guess not the ones you've watched you're gonna do, so what's your favorite race?
Favorite race.
And why?
Ooh. Favorite race that I've done would probably have to be Tour Dairyland in Wisconsin.
No way!
Yeah.
How cool.
Favorite as in fun and energy-wise, like in the States. There we go. It's just, the whole town's come out. It's 11 days of crit racing, but it's hard crit racing.
Oh, for sure.
It's intense. Each course is different. But the crowds and the energy of people, just literally, it's like 4 rows deep of people just cheering, having a good time. Music's going, people are barbecuing, kids are running around. Like, it's just the energy of it is insane.
And where else do you get that kind of energy and crowds in cycling?
You don't.
That's amazing.
And to have 11 days of it,
it goes like that the whole 11 days.
The whole 11 days.
Wow.
No matter where you're at. And so it's just, and you travel all around basically the whole state of Wisconsin. So it's like, you get to see the whole thing.
Oh, cool.
And you get to race your bike. So it's like, nothing better.
So my teammate did that. He brought back great cheese.
Oh, yes.
Did you get some sweet cheese?
Those cheese curds.
The cheese?
Cheese curds. You chew on them and they squeak.
Oh, my God. That's nuts.
Pretty good.
Okay, so favorite race is rocking up in Dairyland.
Yeah.
I guess my last one, and this is a good one, what's a piece of wisdom you would like to impart to everyone who's watching or to new riders about cycling or life in general?
Go into it with an open mind and an open heart.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Whatever you're doing or whatever you want to pursue, whether it be mountain bike, road bike, cyclocross, a job, a relationship, a friend.
Do it.
Anything.
Do it.
Open mind, open heart.
Open mind, open heart. You heard it here from Holly Breck. This has been a surprisingly successful, in my mind, first episode in the studios.
I love it.
I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And I'll see you on a ride soon.
Yes.
So look for the next episode. We'll see who I can, get to come talk to me. And
Heck yeah.
If you guys liked it, leave something in the comments. Or if you didn't like it, also do that and I'll ignore it. But thanks, Holly. I'll see you on a ride. It's been a pleasure.
It's been fun.
Good luck next season. I'll be watching on TV and saying, I got dropped by Holly Breck. All right. See you next time.
Sounds good. See ya.